host, so as a podcast host, that's something that I've been doing for a little while. Tim has been doing for a while. You have now been doing for a little while. What's a question that you ask on a pretty regular basis that you have noticed, and maybe you've switched and you don't ask this question anymore, that you have found it being difficult to get an answer out of someone?
Ooh.
That's the question.
That's the question. There's a few good questions I ask that always get a good response. Like I'll typically ask them, like, what's one piece of advice that you wish you knew when you started your business? And that usually has a pretty good response. I would say the more difficult questions is just asking them stuff about their business, like how they're growing it or what they've done to see their business grow over the years. And it's different because, it goes out across the country. So we got listeners in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, it's 117 degrees. And then we have listeners in Boston where it's 70 degrees. And so it isn't always apples to apples. So that's why sometimes it's a little difficult for them to share that type of insight because it might not be useful or relevant for everyone.
Do you do anything to try to get them to say it, or you just say, okay?
Yeah. So I'll typically ask them because it's a very seasonal business for, in different areas, like up, Virginia to like up north, it is kind of seasonal. You get all 4 seasons or so. And some are harsher than the others. So I'll typically ask them, like, before I ask them about like good marketing tips for certain seasons, I'll ask them, like, first, when is your cold season? When is your hot season? Do you have shoulder months where it's not really hot or cold and you get like no service calls at all? That way they can at least put that out there for the listeners, kind of to tee it up, like paint the picture, if you will, and tell them. So if someone in Boston who is freezing cold 8 months of the year is listening, they could say, okay, this is what this guy does during his cold season, which is only 3 months in Phoenix. So I'll do that for my 8 months, and then I'll do the opposite for the other, whatever the math is there for.
What have you had guests that are tight-lipped on the things that work well for them, or are people pretty open in terms of sharing what works and what doesn't work for them?
Yeah, I think for the most part, they've all been very open about it. There's been a few that were kind of like, I don't want to give away all my secrets, but it was like, you're not really giving away all your secrets because, one, the people listening to this are all over the place. They're not even competitors of yours anyways. But two, if you're doing such a great job as you say you are, then you probably don't really care if your competitors are listening because it's not like they can replicate what you're doing.
Well, that's the thing. It's very difficult to replicate that thing, right? Yeah. You could say, hey, go start a podcast, and that might work for you for a reason that has nothing to do with podcasts. It has all these other things to do with it. It could be because of the SEO perspective, because of that fancy icon that you put on there. People like your smile, like your voice, like it. That's what I always think is so much. Oh, well, I can't tell you this because Tim and I have heard that for the last 10 years on just, I can't tell you my business idea because it's the next whatever. It's like,
I need you to sign an NDA before I talk to you.
I literally walk out of the room. Like, I want someone to ask me to sign an NDA at this point. I'd be like, no, thank you. Like, bye. Like, I have no interest. It's just like, you think that this thing is so great, and maybe it is. Like, in the last year, I've heard one good idea, maybe, like that actually like from a new idea that seemed like it actually had something. And we hear a lot of ideas, and it's just like you're putting too much like confidence that it's just going to field a dreams effect, and that's just not the case. And I mean, think about how many features Facebook produces that never work but seem like amazing ideas.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I always look at it, if I meet someone that does the same thing that I do, rather than look at them as competition and not wanting to share anything. I mean, to me, I look at it as a partnership opportunity that, hey, if you're overwhelmed and you need some surge support on a project, hey, come and talk to me. And likewise, if I'm in over my head with work, then I can sub some work out to you, as opposed to you trying to build that moat around your business and not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
What's a question you have for us, Eric? Oh, I got you twice now.
Why'd you take your hat off?
I wanted everyone to see how
Fly
bad of a
haircut.
haircut, how bad of a hair, no, not bad of a haircut, how bad of a hair day I'm having because I'm incapable of doing what my stylist can do to my hair the day after a haircut.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean,
it's a huge problem.
A haircut, and man, they make you look good, and then the next day you come out and you're like, your hair look like. You try to recreate it, it's impossible. And they got the fancy spray bottles there.
It's just water. That's what they say. I'm like, this is not just water.
It's just water, but it's like they spray it and it's like an endless stream of water. And then mine's like the little, like when you get a Home Depot for like Windex, it's like, and I'm like, bro, this is not working the way they had it going.
I left yesterday. I got a haircut yesterday. I left yesterday. I was like, this is a nice haircut. Yeah. Then today I was like, how am I going to do this? So I tried with the stuff that I had, doing a little doom, doom.
Yeah.
And this is what you get. So.
All right. Here's my question for you all. Where do you host your podcast at?
Right now we just have everything stored on YouTube.
It's not audio. It's not audio at all.
Oh, really? Interesting. What was the decision for that?
I don't recall. I think we just.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about it. You know, it's like, gosh, we're already going through and doing so much of the work. It's like, what would it take just to push it up to iTunes or
Gavin
Spotify?
Is in the background going, Yeah, I mean, honestly, at that point, it's just an upload, right? Because all the work is already done at that point.
Yeah,
it's I don't know that we have an answer. I know we talked about it, and I think it was just like hey, do you want to do this too? And I think the answer was.
And the other thing too, it's like, gosh, at first, we were like, let's kick the tires, see what happens. And now you're episode 68, and so it's like, where does the time go, kind of thing.
Gavin said, "Let's do it." Yeah.
There you go. Especially with StreamYard, all you have to do is download the audio, and you do an intro every time, so you don't really need to.
We need someone to come up with some fancy music to.
Okay, so speaking of which, somewhat guest, I think 25, Nate Scholl, swim nerd, in the last few days. So he has. This is pretty incredible stuff. So he's been going live. He used to be a swim coach at ODU, has created a swimming pace clock. And he's got all these like former or current swimmers. I think he had Nathan Adrian on last night. So big time Olympian on last night. And they're streaming while watching the performances of these swimmers. And Tim, I sent you one of them. So he has a podcast that's gotten pretty big in the swimming world. It's called something with Brett Hawk. I can't remember. That's his host. Nate just kind of produces it and sponsors it. But they've been getting like tens of thousands of views live on these hits, which has been pretty exciting that someone in our own backyard has been able to produce something like that live and seeing some of the streams. And Inside with Brett Hawk is the name. I don't even know if Gavin, you told me that, but
yeah. Well, shout out to the All In podcast, man. That intro and outro to the All In is so good, man. I mean, I would put that on my running playlist.
Oh, so what made me think of this is they have his intro was ridiculous. Like it's I'm like this. It's just funny. So, yeah, we need one. So if someone's listening and they want to produce a fancy little jingle for us, something like Tim. Yeah. Zack. Yeah. This is the show called the Fervent 4. Listen in. Boom.
Yeah.
There you go.
That boom is when everyone they just went on to the next. Exactly.
No, they as soon as they heard my voice, they went boom.
I've been directly involved within our entrepreneurial community for years. And the most common question I get is, Tim, I want to get involved, but I don't know what events I should attend. Well, StartWheel eliminates that pain point because we consolidate all the events you should attend into a single calendar. Now you'll be in the know and see where to spend your time. Gone is the need to search multiple websites and calendars. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.